plugin is no different from any other plugin installation. When you have the plugin active and ready, we can go over the proper configuration and the best settings to use. We begin by opening the general section of the plugin. Let's start with the domain key field, which is used when setting up the Quick Cloud CDN services. What you need to do is submit the request with Cloudflare already active on your website. Once the request is processed, you can refresh your WordPress admin page to have the domain key be filled in automatically. Clicking the link to Quick Cloud will allow you to complete the registration process for the Quick Cloud services. Afterwards, let's navigate to the CDN section of the plugin and enable the Quick Cloud CDN from there. Now you would need to configure the Quick Cloud CDN with your Cloudflare details. To do so, let's access our Cloudflare dashboard and get the global API key. Here, it's simply just a case of transferring the details to their appropriate fields. Let's get back to the general section. The next option is guest mode. To optimize guest mode, use the guest mode optimization option. When you enable this setting, underneath there is a server IP field for your site's IP address. Including your IP address will allow the crawler to retrieve resources directly from your server, improving your site's performance. Next, let's move on to the cache tab. Settings that can be found here mostly apply to web servers running Lightspeed as well as Quick Cloud. Let's begin with the option to cache logged-in users. Since enabling this takes up server resources, it is only recommended to do so if you run a membership website. Next up is cache commenter. The output of this function depends on your comment moderation. Cache REST API enables you to cache requests from the WordPress REST API calls. These calls are generally made by third-party web applications integrated with WordPress, including themes, plugins, and the block editor. Leave it on for best performance. I recommend enabling the rest of the cache options, with the one exception being cache mobile. Now let's briefly overview the other available sections. TTL. This function controls how long specific content types are stored in the cache. The default settings should work fine, but you can reduce or increase the numbers as needed. Purge provides you with all settings to remove certain content types from cache. Exclude helps specify which content types you want to exclude from cache. There are various fields to fill out, including site URIs and query strings. Fill out the strings accordingly and the system will prevent them from being cached. ESI separates specific parts of an object. The object caching functionality is disabled by default. Important detail to note here is that on hosting your shared and cloud plans, object cache is unavailable. Browser. Enabling browser caching allows the system to automatically store dynamic content of your WordPress site. Advanced. The settings on this tab are designed for advanced users. Here you can enable the HTTP/HTTPS functionality to avoid conflicts with login cookies. Furthermore, an instant click function can load the web page in the background as soon as your visitors hover over it. Let's continue with the image optimization section of the plugin. Once you open the image optimization page, you will see the image optimization summary tab. If you have previously configured your plugin with the Quick Cloud CDN, here you will be able to send optimization requests to Lightspeed Cloud Server. There are some other handy features on this page, so be sure to check them out. Moving over to the image optimization settings tab, here you will find more optimization options to tweak, such as enabling optimized losslessly to preserve more detail in your images. Let's move on to page optimization. Minifying your scripts is recommended as it simply strips away unnecessary elements such as extra white spaces and new line characters from the code files. When it comes to combining your script files, you would need to take into consideration that it can use extra system resources and sometimes cause errors. Let's check out the Media Settings tab. Here you can enable lazy loading. This allows the system to load various images only when they are in view. While this can increase your website's performance, it can also impact user experience. In the next tab over, which is Media Excludes, you can exclude certain images from being lazy loaded. Excluding above default images such as logos and background images can improve user experience, as you will want those elements to load before the rest of the page. The last tab is Tuning. Here you are able to exclude specific scripts from minification or from being combined. And here are the website speed test results after applying all optimizations. Comparing the before and after results, you can see how much of a performance increase we got. First is the database section. Here you can execute various tasks to optimize your WordPress website's database. In the Database Optimization Settings tab, you can automate the remove the revision max number value to 2. Meanwhile, to keep all post revisions for a specific period, change the revision's max age. Next up is the crawler. The ls cache crawler works by browser. This function is disabled by default and it needs to be enabled from the server side. Lastly, there's the toolbox section. The first tab you see here is Purge. You can selectively clear only specific files from your cache. The second tab deals with importing and exporting your Lightspeed plugin settings. The third tab lets you directly make edits to your website's htaccess file. The fourth tab is Heartbeat. Here you can make configurations related to WordPress Heartbeat API. The next tab over is Report. If you ever run into any issues with the Lightspeed plugin, here's where you can report them to the plugin's developers. Moving on, there's the Debug Settings tab. It offers some really handy features to troubleshoot any issues you might have related to Lightspeed cache. The last two sections let you view the debug log of your plugin and beta test a newer version.